Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to explain how to complete this week's activity. This is the first page of the activity. On this page you're going to be making up a set of data. Before you make up the data set, you have to decide what your observational units are. Your observational units could be people, it could be cars, they could be dogs, or something else. Once you decide what your observational units are, write the ID numbers of your observational units in these 5 boxes on the left side of the spreadsheet. If you've decided the observational units are people, just write person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, person 5. If you've decided the observational units are dogs, just write dog 1, dog 2, dog 3, dog 4, dog 5. Or if you've decided that they're houses, just write house 1, house 2, house 3, house 4, house 5. Once again, it's up to you to decide whether your observational units are houses, dogs, people, or something else. Once you've written the ID numbers of your observational units, think of 4 variables that you could collect data on, and then write the names of the 4 variables in these 4 boxes right here. If your observational units are people, one of the variables could be age or gender. If your observational units are houses, one of the variables could be square feet or price. You have to make sure that your variables go along with your observational units. For example, if your observational units are people, it wouldn't make sense to have square feet or price as a variable. That would make sense if your observational units were houses. Also, think of one of each of the 4 types of variables that we've covered this week. In other words, one of your variables should be nominal, one of them should be ordinal, one of them should be discrete, and one of them should be continuous. Once you've written the names of your 4 variables in these 4 boxes, write the type of variable in the box under the name of the variable. So if this one is your nominal variable, write qualitative nominal in this box down here. If this is your ordinal variable, write qualitative ordinal in this box. It doesn't matter what order you put them in. For example, you could have the discrete one first, and then the nominal, and then the ordinal. Or you could have the nominal one first. It's up to you as long as you have one of each. After you've written the ID numbers for your observational units, the names of your 4 variables, and the type of variable, fill in these boxes inside of the spreadsheet with made-up data values. This is going to be the information that that's actually been gathered from the observational units. So if this variable is age, just write 5 ages in here. Write the ages of the 5 people. If this variable is gender, fill in 5 genders. And it's fine to have repeats. For example, if this variable is age, your ages could be 18, 18, 15, 25, 20. They also don't have to be in order. For example, it could be, if the ages could be 18, 25, 19, 30, 15. It's just, you're just imagining that this is your first participant and this is your last participant. And you're just filling in the ages in the order that you've recorded them from the 5 people. And just make sure that the data values make sense. For example, if this variable right here is, let's say, height, it wouldn't make sense to have a number like 200 inches or 300 inches. Just make sure that the data values seem realistic. Other than that, it's up to you to decide what the data values are. Just make up the data set and fill in made-up data values. Once you do that, fill in these 3 boxes that are next to these arrows right here. One of them should say variables, One of them should say observational units, and one of them should say data values. And just fill in the 3 blanks. And after you fill in those 3 blanks, or these 3 boxes, answer these 3 fill-in-the-blank questions about how many variables you have in your data set, how many observational units, and how many data values. And remember, I said that when you're filling in these 3 boxes next to the arrows, the 3 possible answers are variables, data values, and observational units. And one of those answers goes into one box. Those answers goes into one box, and you just have to fill them into the correct boxes. On page 2 of the activity, you're making up another data set, this time with only 4 observational units. On this page, use a different type of observational unit than you did on page 1. For example, if your observational units were people on page 1, use something other than people on page 2. For example, it could be houses, it could be cars, just something other than people. Or if you did houses on page 1, do something other than houses on page 2. That way you'll have 2 different types of data sets. On this page, have one of each type of variable again. Have a nominal, ordinal, discrete, and continuous, and write the names of the 4 variables up here. I didn't put in the second row of boxes under here, so you don't have to write the type of variable. Just have one of each and write the names in. Other than that, it's the same page over again. On this last page, you're answering 10 questions, and each one of these has the same steps that you need to go through. I'll actually do a couple of these for you just so you understand how to do these.